Music of different regions, Part 1, Carnatic music. Welcome to the lecture series on Indian music. India is rich in her musical wealth. She has developed a splendid system of music. Her musicology is based on sound and aesthetic principles. She has an extensive literature on the science of music dating back to the 4th century BC. Music is a part and package of the life of the nation in India. Her brilliant composers have shed luster on her music through their scholarly compositions. As said before, the divisions in Indian music came only later. At first, Indian music was broadly divided as Karnatic and Hindustani, which is also called as a South Indian and North Indian music respectively. In this session, we will be discussing about Introduction to the classification of Indian music, Introduction to Carnatic music, Important elements of Carnatic music, Performance of Carnatic music, Learning Carnatic music. Introduction to the classification of Indian music. There are several references to Carnatic music in the ancient pre-Sangam and Sangam literature, starting from the earliest known work Tolkappiyam of 500 BC. Puns were the melodic mode used by the Tamil people of this period. These puns evolved into the pentatonic scale and later into the 7 notes of the Carnatic music. The puns of this period corresponds to the Carnatic ragas of today. In the 6th, 7th and 8th centuries, puns are seen in the form of Tevaram and Divya Prabandham. Later, a distinct classification of Indian music arrived. This is divided into 2 strata that date back at least to the 8th or 9th century treatise Brihat Desi by Matanga. As Matanga used them, the 2 terms distinguished the divine ritual music of the Vedas, Marga Sangeet, music of the way, from secular regional music or Desi music, music of the countryside or province. Today, Marga and Desi Sangeet are rather interpreted differently in common usage. Marga Sangeet is taken to mean the major canonical classical traditions, and Desi Sangeet has come to mean all regional, localized, villages' little traditions. Marga and Desi are roughly equivalent to more common terms Shastriya Sangeet or scientific music and Lok Sangeet or folk music. It is believed that Marga Sangeet was created by Brahma and other deities and meant to be presented before the gods to please them and not for entertainment. The Desi Sangeet is of 2 kinds, Karnatic and Hindustani. The treatise in Tolkappiyam, which dates back to the 3rd century BC, gives a fair idea of a traditional heritage of Carnatic music. We come across the terms Carnatic music and Hindustani music in the work Sangeeta Sudhakara of Haripala, written between 1309 to 1312 AD. Fundamentally, the 2 systems are similar, the same swaras and shrutis being used. The peculiar style of singing the notes and the treatment of ragas based on the very same swaras and shrutis gives the distinctive color to the 2 systems.
sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re
sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa.
Carnatic music may be said to be more systemized than the Hindustani music. The term Carnatic is used in the dual sense of old and originated from the southern part of the Indian peninsula. The Desi Sangeet has assimilated the good traits of the old Marga Sangeeta. Musicologists in the south referred to their music only as Sangeeta and did not call it as Carnatic music until recent times. Haripala lived in Devgiri, which was the borderland between North India and South India. At the time of invasion of Malik Kafur in 1294, the North Indian music had almost become Persianized. This was called as Hindustani music by Haripala Deva, and the music of South India was called Carnatic music, meaning Southern and Old music. Introduction to Carnatic music. By the 17th century, there was a clear segregation between the Carnatic and Hindustani systems of music. Carnatic music stood relatively unaffected by the Persian and Arabic influences. It was at this time that Carnatic music flourished in Tanjavur, while the Vijayanagar Empire reached its greatest extent. Purandaradasa, who is known as the father or Pitamaha of Carnatic music, formulated the system that is commonly used for the teaching of Carnatic music. Venkatamaki designed and authored the formula for the Melakarta system of raga classification in his Sanskrit work, the Chatur Dandi Prakashika, 1660 AD. Govindacharya is known for expanding the Melakarta system into the Sampurna Raga scheme, the system that is in common use today. Carnatic music was mainly patronized by the local kings of the Mysore kingdom and Travancore kingdom in the 18th through the 20th centuries. The royalty of the kingdoms of Mysore and Travancore were noted composers and adept in playing musical instruments such as the veena, rudraveena, violin, ghatam, flute, nagaswaram, and mridangam. Some famous court musicians and royalty proficient in music were Veena Sheshanna, 1852 to 1926, and Veena Subbanna, 1861 to 1939. The main emphasis in Carnatic music is on vocal music. Most of the compositions are written to be sung and even when played on instruments. They are meant to be performed in gayaki or singing style. Carnatic music is mainly sung through compositions, especially the kriti or kirtanam, a form developed between the 14th and 20th centuries by composers such as Purandaradasa and the Trinity of Carnatic music, Saint Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar, and Shyama Shastri. Carnatic music is also usually taught and learnt through compositions. Important elements of Carnatic music. Apart from stylistic differences, the basic elements are Shruti, the relative musical pitch, Swara, the musical sound of a single note, Raga, the mode or melodic formula, and Tala, the rhythmic cycles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These form the foundation of improvisation and composition in Carnatic music. Shruti, the relative musical pitch. Shruti is commonly referred to the musical pitch or tone from which all the others are derived. The number of sounds that can be distinguished by auditory perception is 22, and these fall within a scale in Carnatic music. Shruti can also be described as the smallest audible sound that can be distinctly heard. It is mainly referred to as the keynote or Adhara Shadja. This is the basic note for music. Swara, the musical sound of a single note. In the context of Carnatic music, Swara means a note in the octave. The musical octave is said to have evolved from the elaborate and elongated chants of Samaveda based on these basic swaras. Just as there are 7 days in a week, 7 colors in a rainbow, there are 7 swaras. The table shows the names of these 7 swaras and the syllables that are used for solmization, a system of associating each note of a scale with a particular syllable in Indian and Western music. Number 1, Shadjam, Indian Sa, Western Do. 2, Rishabam, Re, and Re. 3. Gandharam, Ga and Me. 4. Madhyamam, Ma and Fa. 5. Panchamam, Pa and So. 6. Daivatam, Da and La. 7. Nishadam, Ni, Si or Te. In Tamil literature, these 7 notes were termed as Kural, Tuttam, Kail Kilai, Urai, Ili, Vilari and Taram respectively. Raga, the mode or melodic formula. Raga is defined as a pattern of notes possessing distinguishing rhythms, intervals and embellishments which are used as a foundation for improvisation or compositions. Raga literally creates passion or rasa. Every raga is aesthetic and has a tonal personality and is capable of being recognized by a trained ear. Ragas are many and have subclasses too. The combination of several conventional patterns of melody and rhythm has resulted in this huge variety in ragas. The pans of the Sangam period were the ancient forms of these ragas. Tala, the rhythmic cycles. Tala is a concept that is simply defined as a measure of time or musical time. Tala refers to a fixed time cycle or meter set for a particular composition which is built from groupings of beats. Tala comprises of cycles that have defined number of beats. Carnatic music singers usually keep the beat by moving their hands up and down in specified patterns and using their fingers simultaneously to keep time. Performance of Carnatic music. With the termination of the former princely states and the Indian independence in 1947, Carnatic music went through a radical shift in patronage into an art of the masses with ticketed performances organized by private institutions called sabhas. During the 19th century, the city of Chennai emerged as the capital of Carnatic music. Carnatic music is usually performed by a small ensemble of musicians consisting of a principal performer, usually a vocalist, a melodic accompaniment, usually a violin, a rhythmic accompaniment, usually a mridangam, and a tambura, which acts as a drone throughout the performance. Other distinctive instruments used in performances may comprise the ghatam, ganjira, moorsing, flute, and veena. The most outstanding performances and the greatest concentration of Carnatic musicians can be found in the city of Chennai. Madras music season, held in the month of December every year, is considered to be one of the world's largest Carnatic music events. Apart from this, the various festivals are held in India and abroad throughout the year with the patronage of government and connoisseurs of art. Learning Carnatic music. Carnatic music was traditionally taught in the Gurukula system, where the students reside with the teacher doing service and simultaneously gaining knowledge. The master or the guru provided secular and spiritual education to the students or shishyas. The Carnatic music is traditionally taught according to the system formulated by Purandaradasa. This involves barisais, graded exercises, alankaras, exercises based on the seven talas, and gitas or simple songs and swarajatis. After the student has reached a certain standard, varnams are taught, and later the student learns kritis. It typically takes several years of learning before a student is adept enough to perform at a concert. The learning texts and exercises are more or less uniform across all the South Indian states. The learning structure is arranged in increasing order of complexity. With the change in lifestyle and the demand on young music aspirants to simultaneously perform a parallel academic career, the Gurukula system is now completely out of scene. In today's system of Carnatic learning, students commonly visit the Guru daily or weekly to learn music. With the availability of new technological quick learning aids such as audio cassettes, discs, and videos, learning has become even easier and time saving. The traditional gurus discourage technology aided learning, and they insist that face to face learning is the most beneficial for students. Therapeutic effects of Carnatic music. Recent researches had shown that children who received classical music training showed better performances in phonological awareness (PA) and verbal working memory (VWM), along with enhanced pitch perception abilities. Post-operative patients were able to ease their pain and reduce their reliability on painkillers by listening to one of the most famous ragas of Carnatic music, Ananda Bhairavi. It would be no exaggeration to say that Carnatic music is a dynamic and innovative system of Indian music which represents the collective greatness of great geniuses over a couple of millennia. The fundamental concepts and the elements of this music is so universal that further innovations can only enrich it and not fragment or modify it. Carnatic music has retained a distinctive image which imbibes various concepts without disturbing the basic values. The treasures of Carnatic music are beyond time, race, and religion. The society must aim at reclaiming this Carnatic culture by a wider and secular mass. So far, we have reviewed the various aspects of Carnatic music, its origin, elements, art of performance, and learning. Hope this session has portrayed a wide understanding of Carnatic music. The other regional music forms will be summarized in the next session. Thank you.